Hey guys, Ebsy here. Just ran some heroic missions on the Division and wanted to just give you guys a quick synopsis of how it went for me and what my initial thoughts are on them. I know that some people have been running them saying they're super difficult, some people have been saying they're super easy, so I wanted to give them a go. Hadn't really tried it since the update. So first off, I thought I was going to be getting the showstopper, but that didn't seem to drop anywhere, which was very odd. I was under the impression this was a given when you complete a heroic strike or a heroic mission, that I would be getting this. That didn't happen for me, so a bit strange. I'm not sure if I have to collect it from somewhere specific or anything like that, but it didn't drop. It didn't come through as a prize or a reward for the mission, so a bit strange. So yeah, if you know about that, drop a comment definitely, because I'd love to get my hands on that one. So yeah, the heroic missions. Now, essentially, they are challenge missions which have been tweaked to have slightly more difficult enemies. They dish out a little bit more damage, but they take some more bullets. And when I say they take some more bullets, it seems like they take an eternity to die. Literally, you can be putting 3 clips into a guy who's running at you with an axe, and you're gonna probably just about take him down. It gets a bit frustrating after a little while. You can still do some pretty quick runs. I just wanted to list a few things that I found really helped me out. So the first is to find a decent team. I was quite lucky, and you'll see in the video that the guys I'm running with, they're not super high levels and they weren't super brilliant, but they were capable. So when we were coming across enemies, people were calling out things. People would call out that they'd flashbang some people on the left, or they would call out that there's a heavy on the right, or getting rushed from the centre. Things like that. That really helps the squad, because you can understand where you've got to be and where you need to be focusing your fire. So that's super important. I would say, gear score wise, if you take maybe 190 or 200 as a guide, I know the guide for the heroic ones is 200, but I'd say you could probably get away with a little bit less. Then again, gear score means nothing really. You can be running, awful gear, but if it's got decent DPS, or awful gear in regards to gear score, but if it's got decent DPS and toughness attached to it, you're still going to do fine. So I'd say try and find people with, around, I would say above, about 180 DPS is about the minimum, and 250 toughness would be a minimum to get it done in a reasonable time. You could go with less than that, but it might take you a little while. So just bear that in mind. If you're looking for a squad, that's something to look out for sure. The second thing that definitely surprised me was the ammo. Now, because the enemies now take more bullets, you now need more ammo to kill them. Makes sense. It's not something I thought of when going into this. Initially, I was running just a generic build of pretty mixed gear that I'd got, just with some decent kind of newer leveled gear score stuff. I then switched that on another run I did for some Lone Star gear, which gives you some ammo buffs, which definitely helped out. It gave me a lot more ammo. I didn't have to keep constantly looking for ammo boxes or asking someone to drop an ammo pack on the floor, so that was super helpful. The next thing I run on my build most of the time is a flashbang. I find it super useful for stopping rushers. You can drop a flashbang. They even have a timer on them, so you can drop them on the floor if you know they're going to run somewhere. Drop it down, wait for them to run into it, bang, they stop dead. The time in which they are flashed seems to have been reduced. They don't seem to be held for quite as long anymore, so you can't get as many shots on, but it's definitely worth doing. If you're getting rushed, you can drop a flashbang, and if 2 or 3 of you are running that, you can stagger them for a decent amount of time. Also, try and couple higher skill power with that build, so you can then have that flashbang more often. It will regen faster, means you can flash them more. Super useful. The last thing that I wanted to say is patience. You need to have patience for heroic ones. Due to the nature in which the enemies drop now, taking longer, that is definitely something you need. You need to be just patient with the guys that you're working with and the enemies that are coming at you. They're not going to drop straight away. No, there's pretty much nothing you can throw at them that's going to just drop them straight away. So you need to be patient with taking them down. Take them down in stages, move around the map. That's one thing we found was super useful, was moving around. Try and kind of coast them into a little area if you can. Try and shimmy them all into a corner. That was quite helpful, and then you can get grenades and flashbangs and all that kind of thing in one concentrated spot. You affect more enemies and you do better damage that way. So that was helpful. So my kind of overall thoughts on heroic, they're no more difficult than challenge really. If you're thinking of doing a challenge mode, just do a heroic. You get slightly better gear. It's slightly more of a challenge. The only reason you do challenge mode is if you were looking for the Phoenix credits or the daily Phoenix credit buff on that. But to be honest, they're much of a muchness. They're very similar. They just take more bullets. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. Overall, I was, I guess, a little bit disappointed with this. I haven't been bowled over by the update, if I'm honest. It hasn't filled me with the desire to keep coming back to the game. So I was a very positive player before kind of the major glitches, but they started creeping in. I was playing with a guy on that last run, and he had a map issue that he'd had for an entire week where he couldn't actually see his map, so he was unable to fast travel. He said there was a point where he had to actually run across the map for 2 hours to get to a point where he needed to do like a mission or enter the dark zone or something, and he said it was just not great. He said he'd tweeted Ubisoft, he said he jumped on their support forums, and nothing had really come of it, so that was a bit of a pain. I felt kind of sorry for that guy. But overall, the game is still good. I'm still enjoying it at the time that I'm playing it. I just don't find myself jumping on it that often. I think if I had some more people to kind of roll with, if I had a decent squad on this, I think that would definitely help. It's not something I've got at the minute. So a lot of my mates have stopped playing this due to the glitches, so we'll see. We'll see. The Underground comes out soon. I'm sure all of them friends will be coming back. So let's wait and see for that one. We haven't got to wait too long. Cool. Well, I hope that was helpful, guys. If you ever want to run a heroic, drop me an ad on PSN or tweet me. I'm sure I can jump on and help you guys out. Yeah, and have fun. Catch you later.